If you come across this magic car on the highway, you must run away. Even if it hits you for no reason, don't mess with it or it will come to kill you. Mike didn't believe this unfounded legend. Looking at the big car in front of him and thinking about the inexplicable collision he had just had, Mike was angry. So he ignored his companion's advice and ignored the danger of the magic car on the highway and had to go up and take revenge on it. At first, the magic car didn't give Mike a chance. Strangely enough, the magic car suddenly conceded defeat and graciously let them overtake him. They were so happy that they didn't notice that it was an unmanned car. However, before they could have a second to rejoice, the magic car caught up with them again and it looked like they were in for a rough ride. Sure enough, the magic car hit them harder this time. The next thing they knew, their car was snowballing and it was a wreck. Luckily, only Mike's arm was bruised and the other three were safe. The four of them had been out for a nice trip, but they had come across something so dangerous. Worried about finding the person responsible for the accident, they went to talk to him. They grabbed their girlfriend, Bella, and head over there, not realizing that a lot of strange things will happen. They arrive at the magic car carefully, but there is no one in the driver's seat. But the car keys are there. Mike and the others are uneasy and rush over. Suddenly there was a gunshot in the distance and a man with a gun was running towards them, scaring them into hiding in the car. The men shivered in fear as they looked out the window at the madman. Jerry started the car and fled. What they didn't know was that this was exactly the trap that Magic Car had set for them. The music inexplicably plays in the car and soon the four men drift off into a coma. It was an unmanned magic car that dazed the four people in the car and took them to a side road. Suddenly there was a bump and luckily Jerry in the driver's seat braked just in time or he would have died. A few people were in a sweat and got out of the car to check. It turned out to be a very rundown road in the middle of nowhere. What they didn't know was that Magic Car had brought them here on purpose. Jerry also tried to back the car out, but it wouldn't start at all. Mike's wounds were becoming more and more infected and after some discussion Jerry took Bella to get help. But no sooner had they left than Mike, who had stayed in the car, was in trouble. Mary holds a rock and smashes the lock of the container to try and find some supplies. Strangely, it seems to be an enchanted lock and Mary can only leave in frustration. She opens the gas cap and, bizarrely, there is not a drop of fuel in it. So how did the car get here? With her face full of questions, Mary pulled off the fuel line and there was a red liquid coming out. Obviously, it wasn't petrol or oil. So what kind of fuel was it? Mike in the car suddenly woke up from his stupor and subconsciously reached into the trunk and pulled out a key. Then a mysterious force drove him to the container, which he then opened to get inside. As the door closed, a scream came from inside. Mary heard the sound and rushed to the cab, only to find that Mike was missing. She looked around frantically. Just then, the door of the container opened and Mike came out safely inside. Bizarrely, at this moment Mike is a completely different person, with more strength in his injured hand and an eerie power revealed in his eyes. It seems he has been possessed by a demon. From this moment on, he is going to kill everyone around him one by one. The first person to have an accident was his best friend Jerry. He had only just walked out when he got into an argument with his girlfriend. His girlfriend turns around and returns to the magic car, while he is confronted by a madman with a gun. He was caught up in a struggle and the two struggled, with the madman gaining the upper hand. The madman puts the gun in Jerry's mouth and Jerry is left unsure whether he is alive or dead. Bella, the girlfriend, returns to the magic car and tries to start it. But incredibly, it starts without a drop of fuel. And before they can rejoice for 66 seconds, something terrible happens. The man was out of his mind. He grabbed his girlfriend by the hair and dragged her hard under the car, then dragged another girl down and held a gun to their heads. Both girls were shaking in fear, seeing their girlfriend's head about to be killed. When in a crisis he forced himself to come to his senses. He slowly crouched down and hugged them, then stood up and tried to hit Magic Car. To his surprise, he was hallucinating. Mary knocked him out with a spanner, picking up his gun in the process, then strapped Jerry to a rack by the wheel and reversed the car to get ready to leave. Unexpectedly, a demon-possessed Mike walks out and it turns out that it was all a plot by him to use the madman to successfully control Jerry's mind demons and would have used Jerry to kill the two girls.
You didn't take the truck took you.
not expecting Jerry to take control of his mind demon. A foolish Jerry thought Mike was there to help him. Not knowing what happened next was far more than he could have imagined. Mike took advantage of his inattention and knocked Jerry down, then held Jerry's head and sent him under the wheels that were rolling. The two girls sensed something strange and rushed out of the car to check, only for them to fight back their grief and fear and tie up Jerry's body again. Yet even more frightening was the fact that when they got out of the car again to check, the body was gone. This is so bizarre that Mary is scared and hides back in the car when the demon Mike pops up again.
Do you trust me?
Successfully tricking Bella into the container. The next person to kill is his girlfriend Mary. He appears in front of Mary, looking at that we've just come inside the retrailer, while she's out of the car looking for Bella, and he tries to trick her again.
Looking back. We've just come inside the retrailer.
She then went to the driver's side and started the car. She thought that if she got out of this hellhole, her boyfriend would be normal. After a lot of hard work, she finally made it back to the road. Mary stops to release Mike when suddenly there is a ticking sound in her ears and a red liquid is coming out of the fuel tank. It turns out that the magic car's fuel is actually human. Scared, Mary flees the car and continues to drive in search of help. Mike, who had the steering wheel, excitedly crashed into the car in front of him. As she saw that their hopes were being destroyed, Mary exploded and pushed Bella out of the car with a slap, leaving Mike to stop and collect the prey. Mary took advantage of this to grab the gun she had picked up earlier and put it in her bag, sneaking out of the car and preparing to run. The clever Mary had to pretend to obey him and try to lock Bella up again while Mike was carrying her into the container. Unfortunately, he didn't have time to lock the door and was caught in the container, just about to be thrown into the crusher. Mary slammed her head hard into Mike and fled into the woods in panic. Unexpectedly, she was still caught up by Mike. In a moment of crisis, she got the gun in her bag and Mike went to meet God. When Mary returns, she finds another person has fallen into Magic Car's trap and it is too late for her to stop it. In this story, although the devil magic car is scary, what is scarier is human nature. And if you learn to control your demons in a desperate situation, the hope of victory will be yours.